The snowstorm arrived earlier than anyone in the mountain town expected. By late afternoon, the sky above the northern ridge had turned a dull iron gray. The wind howled between the pine trees like something alive, bending branches and sweeping powdery snow across the narrow dirt road that led to Aaron Hale's isolated cabin. Aaron had lived alone in those mountains for almost 3 years. After leaving the city and everything that came with it, he built a quiet life repairing equipment for nearby logging crews and writing the occasional article for small outdoor magazines. It wasn't glamorous, but it was peaceful. Most days, the only sounds he heard were the wind, the crackle of the fireplace, and the distant cry of hawks circling the cliffs. That evening, however, something else broke the silence. A dull explosion echoed from the mountainside. Aaron looked up from the small wood stove where he was heating a pot of soup. What the? The sound had come from the forest beyond the ridge, far too close to be thunder. He stepped outside onto the porch. The cold wind slapped his face instantly, carrying swirling flakes that blurred the treeline. For a moment he saw nothing. Then a faint glow flickered behind the trees.
Green.
Aaron frowned. Great, he muttered. Some idiot crashed a snowmobile. Grabbing his thick coat and flashlight, he headed down the trail toward the glow. The deeper he went into the woods, the stronger the strange light became. It pulsed between the trees, casting eerie shadows over the snow. When Aaron finally reached the clearing, he froze. Half buried in snow was a metallic pod roughly the size of a small car. Its surface shimmered like liquid glass, dented from impact and partially split open. And it was definitely not a snowmobile. Aaron stared for several seconds. Okay, he said slowly. Either I'm dreaming, or that's a spaceship. The pod hissed. A panel slid open with a mechanical whine. From inside came a weak voice. Cold. Aaron stepped closer, heart pounding. 2 figures lay inside. Women. At least, they looked like women. Both had pale silver-blue skin that seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. Their hair, long and white, spread across the metal floor like strands of frost. One of them tried to sit up but collapsed back with a gasp. Aaron didn't hesitate. Hold on, he said, climbing into the pod. The interior was freezing. Ice had already formed along the control panels. He lifted the first woman carefully. Her body felt strangely warm despite the cold. The second woman grabbed his sleeve weakly. Please don't leave us. I'm not, Aaron said. But if you stay here, you're going to freeze. He carried them both, one at a time, back toward the cabin. The storm had grown stronger by the time he reached the porch. Inside, the fire crackled warmly. Aaron laid blankets over the 2 strange visitors and placed them near the stove. For several minutes, the only sound in the room was the wind battering the walls. Eventually, the first woman opened her eyes. They were bright violet. She stared at him cautiously. You rescued us. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck.
Yeah.
That ship of yours didn't exactly land gently. The second woman sat up slowly. She looked younger, though it was hard to tell. Where are we? Earth, Aaron replied. Specifically, a mountain cabin that wasn't supposed to host aliens tonight. The younger one blinked. Earth. The first woman placed a hand on her shoulder. It's all right, Lyra. She turned to Aaron. I am Kaylee's. This is my sister, Lyra. We owe you our lives. Aaron pulled up a chair. Well, Kaylee's and Lyra, welcome to Earth. Though I have a feeling you didn't plan on visiting. Kaylee's hesitated. We were fleeing. From who? Before she could answer, Lyra spoke. Hunters. Aaron raised an eyebrow. Alien hunters. Kaylee's nodded grimly. Our world was conquered by an empire that enslaves entire species. My sister and I escaped with a stolen scout vessel. Lyra looked toward the window where the storm raged. But they followed us. Aaron leaned back. Let me guess. That crash landing wasn't part of the plan. No, Kaylee said softly. Our ship was damaged during the pursuit. Lyra hugged the blanket tighter. And now we are stranded. Aaron sighed. Well, that's not great. For a few minutes, none of them spoke. Finally, Lyra looked at him carefully. You are human. Last time I checked, you helped us without hesitation. Aaron shrugged. Two people freezing in the snow. Didn't matter where you came from. Lyra exchanged a glance with her sister. Kaylee's nodded slightly. Lyra turned back to Aaron with sudden determination. Then we will stay. Aaron blinked. Stay? Yes. He laughed nervously. Hold on. I rescued you from a crash. That doesn't mean you move in. Kaylee stood slowly, still weak but steady. Our ship is destroyed. The hunters will not search this remote planet immediately. It is the safest place for us. Aaron pointed toward the door. This is a one-bedroom cabin. Lyra smiled faintly. We will adapt. Over the next few days, Aaron realized the sisters were serious. They refused to leave. Kaylee's repaired parts of the cabin using tools Aaron didn't recognize. Broken electronics suddenly worked better than before. Lyra explored the forest with childlike curiosity. She marveled at snowflakes, animals, and even simple things like pine cones. You live in a beautiful world, she told Aaron one evening. Yeah, he said. Most people forget that. Despite their strange arrival, the cabin slowly felt livelier. Kaylee's was calm and thoughtful, often studying the stars through Aaron's old telescope. Lyra was energetic and mischievous. She asked endless questions. Why do humans drink something called coffee? Because mornings are painful. Why do you chop trees? Because houses don't grow naturally. And why do humans live alone? That question made Aaron pause. Sometimes it's easier. Lyra tilted her head. Or lonelier. Before Aaron could answer, Kaylee suddenly stiffened. Her eyes focused on the horizon. They found us. Aaron stood. What? Kaylee's moved quickly to the window. A ship has entered the atmosphere. Lyra's playful expression vanished. The hunters. Aaron felt a chill. How long do we have? Hours. Perhaps less. He grabbed his rifle. Well then, guess the quiet life is over. Kaylee's looked at him carefully. You don't have to fight our enemies. Aaron loaded the rifle calmly. They're coming to my cabin, right? Yes. Then they're my problem too. Lyra smiled faintly. I like humans. Night fell quickly. The storm finally cleared, leaving the mountains silent and silver beneath the moon. Then a black craft descended over the ridge. It hovered above the forest like a shadow. 3 figures stepped out. Tall. Armored. Their helmets glowed red in the darkness. Aaron watched from the porch. Well, he muttered. They definitely don't look friendly. Kaylee stepped beside him. They are not. The hunters approached slowly through the snow. One of them spoke in a harsh, mechanical voice. Return the fugitives. Aaron raised the rifle. Sorry. Cabin's full. The hunter lifted an energy weapon. You will surrender them. Aaron fired. The rifle shot echoed across the mountains. The bullet ricocheted harmlessly off the armor. Okay, Aaron said. That didn't work. Lyra stepped forward. Then we try something else. Her eyes glowed bright violet. The snow around them lifted into the air like a swirling storm. The hunters fired energy blasts, but the wind deflected them. Kaylee's joined her sister. Together, they unleashed a wave of blinding light. The ground trembled. When the light faded, 2 hunters lay unconscious in the snow. The third tried to retreat toward the ship. Aaron tackled him before he could escape. After a brief struggle, the hunter collapsed. Silence returned to the mountains. Aaron breathed heavily. Well, that escalated. Lyra laughed breathlessly. Kaylee stared at the disabled ship. They will send more eventually. Aaron nodded.
Yeah.
Figured. He looked at the sisters. So what now? Lyra crossed her arms. We stay. Aaron groaned. Of course you do. Kaylee smiled faintly. You saved us once. Now we will protect this world in return. Lyra grinned. And besides, she looked around the snowy forest. I like it here. Aaron stared at the wrecked alien ship, the unconscious hunters, and the two glowing sisters standing beside him. His quiet mountain life had definitely changed. But as Lyra nudged his shoulder playfully and Kaylee's watched the stars above the cabin, Aaron realized something surprising. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone anymore. And somehow, he suspected the two alien sisters had no intention of leaving.
Not now.
Not ever.